Hey guys, what's up? I'm Ashley and I am back to talk to you about all things A Song of Ice and Fire. In today's video, I would like to discuss with you what I think Cersei Lannister's dirty little secret is. Ever since a scene in Season 6, Episode 4, something has been nagging at me. When Tommen and Cersei have a conversation, the following dialogue ensues. Tommen tells Cersei that he wants to tell her something the High Sparrow told him. Cersei asks Tommen if he has spoken with the High Sparrow. Tommen says that he promised the High Sparrow he wouldn't tell anyone and that if the High Sparrow found out, at which point Cersei cuts him off, saying that it'd be a breach of confidence, which the High Sparrow wouldn't take lightly given his constant prattling about the truth. Tommen then looks down at his feet, seemingly struggling with whether or not to tell Cersei this information. Sensing his reluctance, Cersei morphs into Queen Mum to coax it out of him. She cups his face, saying that she's his mother and that Tommen can always trust her. Tommen opens his mouth to say something, and then the camera cuts to another scene before we hear what he says. Now, we never heard what this secret was for the rest of Season 6. It had to be something big, though, otherwise Tommen wouldn't have struggled with telling his mother and the show wouldn't have hid it from viewers. So I'm left wondering, was this just a trick? Was the secret much ado about nothing, or was it something more? If this secret is something more, what is it? Will it come back around again in Season 7? Let me know what you think down in the comments because I'd really like to know as I'm 100% stumped at this point. Now, in order to gain some perspective on Cersei's dirty little secret, I'd like to attempt to debunk some likely scenarios. The first thing that comes to mind is that the High Sparrow revealed to Tommen the truth about the paternity of Cersei's children, that Tommen and his siblings were fathered by their uncle Jaime and not King Robert. I immediately dismiss this because at this point in the story, viewers already know this truth and have heard it many times. Hell, the paternity of Cersei's children was one of the main themes of Season 1, if not the main theme. So it wouldn't then make sense for the show to all of a sudden try to hide that truth by cutting the scene off. Ultimately, I'm going to have to say that this is not Cersei's dirty little secret. Another solution might be that the High Sparrow told Tommen that Margaery would have to do her own walk of atonement. And in the scene following Cersei's discussion with Tommen, Cersei does bring up Margaery doing a walk. However, I don't think this would be the secret. After Cersei's own walk, I think we could all guess that Margaery's walk was imminent. I'm also thinking that Margaery doing a walk of atonement wouldn't inspire the uneasiness we saw in Tommen with Cersei. If anything, we'd see him react the way he did when he confronted the High Sparrow about Cersei's own walk. Meaning, he'd be pissed off, not too shy to look his mother in the face. Plus, as I mentioned, we all could have guessed what was coming for Margaery. So there would be no need for the show to keep that a secret by cutting off the scene. Ultimately, I debunk Margaery's walk of atonement as being the secret. However, I think Cersei used the threat of an atonement walk to get what she wanted from the Tyrells, but I don't think this was the information that Tommen told her. Next, and the thing I found most likely to be the secret until recently, is that the High Sparrow revealed the Tyrells' role in Joffrey's murder. This might account for Tommen's reluctance to share the secret with Cersei. Doing so would pit his mother aunt against his wife's family. Given that there was already an intense hatred between Cersei and Margaery, Tommen revealing this secret would trap them in a permanent state of conflict which would probably have fatal consequences. And what man wants to be stuck between his wife and his mother all his life? None. Another reason why I believed this theory is what came at the end of Cersei's scene with Tommen and then in the following scene. Just before her scene with Tommen cuts out, we got a shot of Cersei's hand on Tommen's chest. She was wearing Joffrey's ring. Then, the scene cuts to what was supposed to be a small council meeting, and the first person we see is Lady Olenna. Then, after securing an alliance between the Tyrells and the Lannisters to use their armies against the High Sparrow, Rains of Castamere starts playing in the background. As we all know, this song is synonymous with the Lannisters killing people. Then, the scene ends with Cersei looking towards Olenna, then panning the room as Reigns of Castamere continues. So to me, this suggests that Tommen told Cersei what Olenna did and Cersei was plotting her revenge under the guise of helping Margaery. This theory does fall short and was flat out disproven this season. First, the High Sparrow would have no way to know what Olenna did. You could assume that maybe Loras blabbed in his state of despondence, but surely Lady Olenna would know that her grandson's mental resolve wasn't as strong as Margaery's, so she probably wouldn't have told Loras. You could also assume that someone might have overheard when Lady Olenna told Margaery what she did, but that hasn't been confirmed in any way, so I don't hang my hat on it. Then, in the Season 7, Episode 3 final scene, Lady Olenna herself deals the final blow to the theory when she reveals to Jaime that it was her who poisoned Joffrey and that she wanted Cersei to know it. So, as has been the case with the other possibilities, I too rule this out as being the secret. Which brings us back to square one. If not any of these things, what could the secret be? Is it even important anymore? I have one last idea, and it's admittedly tinfoil, but I'm going to throw it out there. Could it have been that the High Sparrow revealed to Tommen that Cersei had another child, one she kept hidden and lied about? Now, before you click away, hear me out. There are some people who believe that Gendry could be Cersei's son from Robert. Gendry has said that one of the only things he remembers about his mom is that she had blonde hair. Also, back in Season 1, Cersei went to Bran's room to visit him and talk to Lady Catelyn while Bran was in a coma. Cersei tells Cat that she lost her first boy who had black hair. She also told Cat that the boy looked just like Robert. Now, if this was true, and Cersei and Robert did have a child, and she either gave the baby away or faked its death, which would have been possible since Robert went on hunting trips whenever she gave birth, then suddenly this makes some sense. The High Sparrow got Tommen to outlaw trial by combat. If he wanted Cersei to have a trial so badly, then the High Sparrow would have to be fairly certain he would convict her. So he'd have to have some solid proof of her guilt. What better proof of Cersei's incestuous activities could the High Sparrow have than Gendry? He looks just like Robert, and Cersei herself said that her first boy had black hair and looked just like Robert. If Gendry was presented at trial, anyone with an iota of sense could see that he is what Cersei and Robert's children look like, and the High Sparrow would have her dead to rights. Now, I'm not saying that this was Cersei's sole reason for murdering the High Sparrow, but keeping this secret a secret would be beneficial to her, as Gendry's right to the throne supersedes Tommen's and now her own, which is actually false. Now, I totally get why people don't buy into this theory. Putting more weight into Maggie the Frog's prophecy makes sense, especially considering everything else she foretold has been accurate. Also, Cersei's mystery baby doesn't exist in the books. The show making Cersei Gendry's mother would be a pretty significant change, and I'm not sure the show would differentiate in such a big way. But this is the only solution I can come up with that the show wouldn't want to reveal at this time that would explain everything else. Finding out that you have a brother your mother never told you about may certainly explain the emotion we've seen from Tommen in his scene with Cersei. So I turn it over to you all. What else could the secret be? Is it anything I've discussed? Is it something more? Is it none of this? Is it hogwash? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And that is going to do it for today, guys. I am Ashley of Noth. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit like, subscribe, and be on the lookout for my next video. As usual, I would like to give a shout out to Jim Young, Cameo, Lady Olenna Tyrell, and Lady De Winter. Without you guys, this channel wouldn't be here. And as usual, 7 blessings, friends.